I'm transforming!
What makes for a good transformation? Well, some good prerequisites are probably that both modes feel complete,
And you fail.
and that everything has a place to go.
Hey, what the hell is this?
But these are some pretty broad criteria that set a fairly low bar. In my opinion, the best transformations feature a good ratio of large overarching actions and small fiddly bits, and this standard can be applied to conversions of all complexity levels. Take animated leader class Megatron for example. Hardly a complicated conversion, regardless of what the box may claim, but complementing the big chunky areas with smaller delicate moves, even if only a few, works wonders to mix up the flow of the process and make it all the more satisfying. Compare that to something like Studio Series The Fallen, whose transformation is almost entirely dominated by big rotations with little variety. The only reprieve is when pieces fall off, forcing you to be careful not out of fun but out of annoyance.
Can I have my face back?
On the other end of the spectrum you have Human Alliance Leadfoot, where moving tiny fiddly pieces through a sea of other tiny fiddly pieces is the only way to achieve a decent robot mode. Pushing too far in one direction or the other can result in a transformation feeling dull and repetitive or frustrating and annoying. Luckily, Masterpiece Movie Ratchet strikes the perfect balance between the two, in spite of some odd design choices elsewhere. This figure features a number of transformation characteristics that have been part of the Ratchet lineage since Dark of the Moon. Most notably, many of the large movements consist of big twists and turns to form the front end of the vehicle mode.
What a twist!
These, along with a rewardingly ratcheted leg fold, are complemented by an array of satisfying smaller segments that make Masterpiece Ratchet much more interesting than its mainline counterparts. Unfortunately, there are a couple of bizarre design elements that prevent the experience from being perfect straight out of the box. The windscreen piece constantly pops out with even the most minor interaction. The very first thing I did when I received my copy was glue it into place. There's literally no downside to doing this, so I don't see why it wasn't like this from the start. More prominently, the official transformation calls for the roof rack to be folded in a way that creates these ugly protrusions. Similarly, the transparent plastic door panels serve as friction joints for these pieces, and with how often they pop out, it doesn't take long for cracks to form. That's where this figure comes in, JH01 Rescue Pioneer.
What is that fucking name?
A knockoff of this figure, which borrows the existing mold and makes several improvements. These panels no longer rely on friction to hold in place, and the roof rack features extra joints, allowing it to sit more cleanly. Though for me and several others, the preferred transformation method is to tuck the roof rack away, creating a much cleaner look and eliminating the need for this clip. Although doing this on the official figure has resulted in a lot of paint chipping. More generally, Pioneer features more extensive paint and an overall more movie-accurate colour scheme, though I must say I do really like the bright neon colours of the official MPM. In short, MPM Ratchet is a shining example of a beautifully balanced transformation, and would be a lot of fun to play with if not for some weird design issues. These, combined with some overly plain paintwork, sadly make it inferior to its legally dubious doppelganger, and I don't think there's much that could make me switch back to Hasbro.